You're watching the KSI News at 6.
Welcome back. With mortgage rates holding steady as well as home prices, many homeowners are choosing to remodel instead of move. So here to share more insight is real estate broker Mark Powell. Thanks so much for being here, Mark, as always.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about these driving factors. We mentioned a couple of them, but what would you say is kind of summary of why people are choosing to go more toward the remodeling route?
Well, two reasons why people won't sell. One is because they're holding on to a 2.5% or 3% interest rate. And when you have that low rate, which we may not see that for a really long time, they're going to hold on to that. And the other reason is they don't want to have the property taxes increase. So let's say you bought a house for $500,000, now your house is worth $1 million. If you buy a house that's $1 million, you're now going to be assessed on $1 million. So people are staying in their homes and they're deciding to remodel them. They're going to say, instead of moving to another house, I'm going to fix my house up. And one of the big indicators of that is Home Depot stock has increased 40% in the last 2 years. People are buying from Home Depot and other big box stores to do these home improvements.
They truly have it all there. I know myself, we make many trips to Home Depot, so that doesn't surprise me. I have heard a lot of people really try to make the space they're in work for a lot of the reasons that you listed. You know, young families that maybe have multiple children and they don't even have enough rooms in their home, but they don't want to leave, like you said. So maybe not just remodels, but additions as well, or add-ons. Have you heard of that as well?
Well, the ADUs are one of the biggest things that people are doing, but those are substantial because that costs a lot of money. But what people can do for the biggest bang for your buck is painting. Interior painting is one of the nicest things you can do. It's relatively inexpensive. The prep work might take some time, but paint's not expensive. And then people are also going to this drought-resistant landscaping. Have you seen this? These kind of like desert scenes. We pay a lot of money for water in San Diego. Well, as a matter of fact, we pay the highest in almost everything in San Diego. And now just tack on a trash tax on top of it. That's going to be another 35, 40, or 50 bucks a month. So people will say, you know what, I'm going to make this house the way I want it to be, and I'm going to stay here. Plus, when you decide to move, there's limited inventory out there, and there's very few new homes that are being built, single-family homes, and when they are built, they're 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, so they're expensive. So the best thing to do is stay in your house, spend the money, make that house your house, and it's a good option because it doesn't cost that much money if you can do it yourself. Yeah, it's another thing people like to do is they like to put in these solar tubes. Have you seen these?
No, I've not seen those.
So a solar tube brings in natural sunlight from outside to a ball that basically sits like a crystal ball on top of your house, and it'll light up the inside of your house and bring in all this natural sunlight. That's between $500 and $800. Painting is between $200 and $400 for the paint. You have to do it yourself. Landscaping is inexpensive now that they have these lights that are solar powered. You can put lights in, and curb appeal is one of the big things that enhances the property value.
I've spent many hours in the front yard pulling stuff and doing all of it on your own because that's free, right? The labor's free if you do it yourself.
It's free labor.
Before we let you go, Mark, maybe you could just talk about if someone does want to sell their home down the line and they've done these remodels, it's probably only going to help them in the long run as well for the price of their home and the value.
Well, what we've found is that people who have a remodeled home, they sell for 4% higher. And they get a lot more looks online. Homes that are not remodeled, they sell for 8% lower. They get less looks and less likes because when you go on these online sites, you can hit a little heart and say, I like that house. So these are all been tracked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's best to invest some money in the property and you're going to get a little bit more out of it. And you do it the biggest bang for your buck. If you can do it yourself, do it yourself.
All right. A lot to think about and a lot of good advice. Mark, thanks so much as always for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Great to see you.